Tarzan. Once upon a time, there was an ape king called Tarzan. He was a mighty leader who had the respect of the great apes. He spoke ape language and behaved like an ape. But the strange thing was that he was a man. This is the story of how a man became the ape king deep in the jungle. Some years ago, there was an ape named Carla who had lost her baby when he died in a fall. She was leaping from one tree to another to escape from her partner, a huge king ape called Kerchak. He was angry and he was trying to fight with Carla, but she escaped. When his anger subsided, Kerchak led the tribe to a beach, where he found a log cabin. He burst his way inside and ruthlessly killed the frightened man who was inside the cabin. Carla quickly spotted the one-year-old Tarzan in his cradle. She dropped her dead baby in the cradle and picked up baby Tarzan. She ran out of the cabin before the Ape King could attack the innocent young child.
I vow to protect you fearlessly from danger, my beautiful boy,
Carla said gently as she looked lovingly into Tarzan's eyes. Carla very patiently tried over and over again to teach Tarzan the basic ape skills. But after about a year, he still could not climb a tree or look for his own food. By ape standards, he was considered not very clever, as most apes of his age could do these things. Kerchak was very angry and wanted Carla to abandon Tarzan.
He will never be a great ape. He will only be a burden to us,
he boomed.
I will not abandon him. He is like my son,
she cried.
I will leave this tribe forever if you don't leave me alone,
she added defiantly. Carla's motherly love and instinct certainly saved baby Tarzan's life. Tarzan survived and grew up amongst a fierce tribe of apes. By the age of 10, Tarzan could spring 20 feet across the jungle and grasp branches with excellent precision from one tree to another. On the ground, he was superior to the other apes because he was intelligent, cunning, and could do many wonderful things with his 4 limbs. He learned to make ropes by twisting long grasses together. This skill proved to be very useful in later years. Tarzan was a curious young man, and it was this curiosity that one day brought him to his father's abandoned cabin.
What have we here?
He said excitedly as he opened the wooden door. He carefully examined all the things in the cabin, and he became interested in the various pictures that he found in the books and journals. Learning to understand the pictures and the words became young Tarzan's hobby for the next few years. Life in the jungle was full of untold dangers, with bigger animals hunting the smaller ones. Tarzan had been hunted in the jungle, and he had nearly lost his life on 2 occasions. In the first attack, he was drinking at a lake with his cousin. To their surprise, a lioness pounced on them from behind. Tarzan leapt into the deep water with great speed and agility. His cousin was not so fast and was sadly killed by the lioness. However, Tarzan could not swim.
Help!
He cried as he struggled in the water. After a while, he instinctively started swimming doggy paddle. This was how Tarzan learned to swim. A few months later, after the first incident, Tarzan was stalked and attacked by a huge gorilla outside the cabin. Fortunately, Tarzan was holding his father's hunting knife, and he plunged it repeatedly into the gorilla's breast. The gorilla was killed, but Tarzan was badly injured in the fight. Carla caringly nursed Tarzan slowly back to health. If it had not been for her love and devotion, little Tarzan would surely have died. After recovering from the ordeal, Tarzan emerged wiser, stronger, and ready to live life in the dangerous jungle. One year passed peacefully until a tribe of men settled at the edge of the jungle. One day, one of the men was hunting in the jungle. He saw Carla and shot her with a poisonous arrow.
Ah!
She yelled in terror as she fell to the ground. The other apes heard Carla's scream and rushed to help her, but they were too late. Tarzan was at the cabin, and by the time he reached the scene, Carla was dead.
My dear mother,
He wailed.
this is the greatest tragedy I have ever known.
He sobbed through his tears. In search of revenge, Tarzan moved rapidly through the jungle. He found Carla's murderer and stalked him. High up in the trees, he watched the man hunting for a while and saw him brutally kill several jungle animals. When the man fell asleep, Tarzan stole his bow and arrows in revenge for Carla's death. Tarzan discovered the man's village and went there frequently to steal arrows for his daily archery practice. One day, on his return from the village, he came face to face with Sabor, the lioness who had killed his cousin. Sabor charged at Tarzan, and Tarzan shot Sabor with his arrows and finished her off with his knife. He removed Sabor's skin and returned to his tribe to show off proudly.
Look!
He cried.
Apes of Kerchak! Tarzan, the mighty fighter, has killed Sabor, the great lioness. Tarzan is the mightiest of you all!
Kerchak, the Ape King, was very angry. With a frightful roar, Kerchak leapt amongst the apes and struck him with his huge hands.
Don't listen to him. He is a man, but I am your mighty king.
He roared. His outburst sent all the apes scurrying to the trees. The fierce Kerchak challenged Tarzan to a fight. Breathlessly, the tribe watched, perched in the surrounding trees. Tarzan fought and wounded Kerchak with his knife. Kerchak was bleeding, and his great strength was slowly fading. The king of the apes realized he had lost the battle. He stared at Tarzan angrily with red eyes. Then he turned in the opposite direction and slowly walked away from Tarzan and his tribe. Tarzan roared with victory as he swung triumphantly through the trees. Slowly, the apes began to gather in a circle around him. They had heard his victory cry.
I am Tarzan,
He cried in ape language.
a great fighter. You must now show your respect for me.
The apes looked at Tarzan in awe. He continued.
No one here is as mighty as Tarzan. I am your king.
Tarzan had now gained the respect of the great apes. Tarzan was readily accepted as the mighty king of the apes, and he led the tribe through many adventures. If you are ever in a jungle, listen carefully, and you may hear Tarzan's great cry.